These problems are not confined to school hallways, yeah, and they extend to the digital realm. By allowing unrestricted teacher-student interactions in social media, it exposes them to vulnerable students to potential harm. A lot of them can happen, and by imposing this ban, it can mitigate the risk. And moving on to my second point, I will do it very quickly, which is the legal and ethical consideration, right? So it is our responsibility as a society to ensure that our educational institution adhere to the established law and ethical guidelines. We want to, like what my prime minister said, to maintain the professionalism in the teachers, where they are the teachers and students are students. They want to make sure there's a gap or a boundary there. So the teachers are held to a high ethical standards, and they are entrusted with to take care of the youth and also their education. So these considerations can extend beyond legal requirements, and we must demand the utmost professionalism from our education. And by allowing them to engage in personal interactions, it can blur the line of professionalism and also make them the boundary to blur. So, in conclusion, the motion today we are debating about training this social interaction, but there are some other ways for that interaction to happen, which, like what I suggest, the website for education purposes. And with that, I rest my case by supporting this motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the thoughtful speech, Deputy Prime Minister. Okay, now we will hear the speech of the Deputy Leader of Opposition. You have 7 minutes to present your case. Okay. Okay, Deputy. You can start now. Deputy Leader of Opposition. You may start now.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Keep it small. Good day, Madam Speaker, worthy members of the government and members of the floor. Well, I'm here to rebut some of the irrelevant points performed by the government, and I will perform my 2 points with the keywords of communication, greater communication and accessibility. Well, the motion of the day is the House would ban teachers from interacting with students via social networking websites. While at my side, as the opposition, I strongly disagree with this statement, and I simply think that we should not ban teachers from interacting with students via social networking websites. So before I start to perform my points, I would like to rebut some of the irrelevant points performed by the government. Well, first of all, just now the Deputy Prime Minister did mention that teacher is teacher and student is students, and teachers should maintain their profession in teaching. But do you think teacher is only for teaching? And I think a best teacher is the teacher that do more than teaching. Teacher is not just a robot. We are humans, and they have the heart. They have their heart and emotions. So, and another way to increase the students' academy, one of the ways is the students should love the teachers, and they will have more patience in teaching in learning the subjects. Okay, now let me perform my points. Okay, the first one about the accessibility. Well, when we have social networking sites, students can ask for the question they are not so understand. And based on the GitNext website, 74% of educators says using social networking sites will improve the communication between the students and the faculty. And using social networking websites, we can inform something, the teacher can inform something emergency to the students. For example, the exam tips or some school events that are going to be postponed, just like our debate this time. We're using the WhatsApp as the platform to spread some information about this debate. So at this point, we can see that social networking site is really important between the students and teachers. Now move on to my second point about the greater communication. When we have social networking site, we can prevent isolation where there are students that are too shy to talk face to face to their teachers. And by these social networking sites is one of the way for the students to convey their own feelings or their own thoughts and opinions to their teachers. For example, the teachers can ask for the students, or the students can convey themselves about some things they are not really understand. And through this way, teachers can have more understanding where are the students really understand what they are teaching in the class. And some of the introvert students, they have little friends, right? So teachers can act as one of their friends, and when they have any family issue or if they need help to consulting them, by social networking sites, they can somehow send messages to their teachers for some to get some consult. Another things I would like to say here, based on the National Library of Medicine's websites, it states that experiencing situational interest can directly promote learning by increasing attention and engagement. Where here I would like to convey that if the students have a better bond with the teachers, then they will have a greater patience to learn the subjects. For example, me myself, I'm really not so into biology, but because I have a great relationship with my teacher, I love the teachers, and we communicate through social networking sites. For example, my biology teacher is now on is on the pregnancy is on her pregnancy leave. So I myself did send some messages to ask for her health and whether she's going out well. And through this, I know about my teacher's condition, and I am able to care about my teachers. If not, if we have no the social networking sites, we do not know why the teacher suddenly disappeared for 3 months, and maybe we can know, or she are going to giving birth, but what's the teacher's conditions, we do not know. So if we have social networking sites, we can somehow be more caring to our teachers, and we can increase the bond. Okay, so I would like to end my case now. I would like to reaffirm our motion today, which is this House would ban teachers from interacting with students via social networking websites. And as the opposition, I strongly disagree with this motion. I simply think that we should not ban teachers from interacting with students via social networking websites, and this motion should fall, and only fall. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your insightful speech, Deputy Leader of Opposition. Okay, now we will now welcome the government whip to speak.
Am I audible? Before I start, can we test the timer first? Is it working well or not before I start my speech?
Sorry?
Can we test the timer before I start my speech? Because I don't want to stammer in between.
Okay, boleh.
Okay then.
Okay. Okay, you may start now. Anytime now.
Good day, everyone. To my diligent judges, fellow teammates of the government, and opposition team. My name is Sri Bardhan. I'm coming from the government side as the Great Minister. Today, I will be reinforcing our motion here, that is, this House believes that teachers should be banned from interacting with students via social media because the amount of issues that can reappear through it is going to be tremendous, and prevention is better than cure. I will do as my responsibility to support my teammates' points as well as rebut the opposition. To start off, as my Prime Minister was stating out just now, possibilities of inappropriate relationship between teachers and students. When the Prime Minister of the opposition said it can be easily prevented via screenshots and so on, and which my Deputy Prime Minister also has reinstated, that saying that how will the screenshot actually be helpful if the consequences are bigger than the help? That's why we should say that online activities current days are being much more vulnerable towards predators which might occur or be in the form of teachers itself. Well, why do we state that banning? Some people might say students are also above 18 or below 18. Why should we ban all over the sites? Well, simply because if you start something in the younger age, the elders will also follow. When we ban the youngest from actually connecting through social media with their teachers, it will be a habit from not occurring so. And these such platforms are also considered to be opening new ways and methods to delete histories and be much more vulnerable in other social medias, as what my Prime Minister stated earlier as well. Nowadays, you can see WhatsApp itself, you can delete messages, and new live video interactions can also occur. Do you know, according to Wiki Impact, 4% or at least 100,000 Malaysian children who use internet experience are sexually exploited in the year 2021? That is really a big number there. So, following up, former Deputy Prime Minister Adam also stated that it is able to prevent unintended consequences. Why unintended consequences? People might think teachers are all good and fairies and angels, but how about the ones that we do not know about? That is where it can be also saying that this digital realm exposes new platforms, such as the possibilities to actually connect with students and lure them into something much more terrifying itself. On the other angle is legal and ethical consideration, because it blurs the lines of professionalism and socialism between teachers and students. And on the rebuttal point, I would like to side with the Prime Minister. Prime Minister stated that the issues can be easily prevented. The benefits is to increase bonds and accessibility. Students can actually screenshot and complain to their administrators. Well, how about prevention is better than cure? Why not that? If it's too late, then it will be, do you know that how many students are going through trauma because of such sexual exploitations, even after complaining? Yeah, let me finish my speech first. I can be able to also provide to say that quizzes can also be done through extra classes. Why through online directly meeting the teachers? And how to increase bonds. They're saying that directly contact with teachers about the issues. Teachers can post their achievements. How about certain stalkers to actually go through their teachers' account to find out the students? On the other side, the deputy opposition also stated that the best teacher is more than teaching. 74% of social media is the bridge between teachers, schools, and teachers, students and teachers. Well, do you also know that there are counselors for that? Counselors could actually be doing their role in their part. During school times, you don't actually need a separate session for them with teachers. And they say that helping shy students to talk with teachers. Well, there are also intensive classes which can be held. Nowadays, teaching can be developed in so many better ways. Why do you want to be on social media to be interacting such as that? You're actually promoting the introvertness into students. You're not actually bringing out from them. You're actually promoting them into that. Okay. Then the debate, you also stating that this debate event was reached via WhatsApp. Was it a PM only personalized to you, or was it to your entire school and administration? Think about that. And teachers can be patient. And you also stated that students who connect with teachers through social media will actually enable the teachers to be much more patient and slower with students to actually teach them in a better method. Well, isn't that actually a teacher's ethics or their professionalism to actually carry out a much more slower method for slower students and better method for better students? This is much more of a teacher's issue rather than connecting through social medias. And teachers can submit through a message via social media. They also stated that if the teachers is, as what our Deputy Prime Minister of the Opposition said, it was if the teacher is pregnant or they are suddenly missing and so on. Well, how about other school administration? Why should the teacher be telling to the students rather than the teacher telling to other school administration so that the class could be replaced? Do not tell me that there's going to be an empty classroom with no teachers for the entire trimester of the pregnancy. No, isn't it? So think wisely. Other teachers can do it. We can send in replacement teachers for that. So with that said, I would like to reinstate my stance as the government to state that banning teachers from interacting with students through social media is better, as prevention is better than cure. Think about it well. If you are too late to it, the traumatization and the phobia that might occur with the students will be tremendous. Okay, with that, I rest my case. Thank you, everyone. Sorry if I have hurt anyone's feelings.
Okay, thank you for the encouraging speech, Government Whip. Okay, we will now hear the speech from the Opposition Whip. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Okay, Opposition Whip, you may start anytime now.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Before I start, can you give me green light about the timer and technical issues so that I don't have to
Okay. Okay.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, and 1. A warm good evening I wish to Madam Speaker, timekeeper, judges with overflowing wisdom. Thank you for letting me, as the third speaker from the opposition, to oppose our motion today, which is this House would ban teachers from interacting with students via social networking websites. Before reinforcing my team's case line, allow me to rebut all these irrelevant points made by the government and show how weak is their root of their case line. Before starting my actual rebuttal, let me go deep into the technical issues faced by the government. First of all, let me start with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister didn't even do her job, which is to characterize her own teammates. And this explains that even the Prime Minister is not prepared to this debate in this very evening. And the third speaker has said that he will accept POI later, but he didn't do that. He dragged time so that this POI can be postponed, and they didn't even POI my team even once. And this shows that they are afraid to have this debate with the opposition. And now moving on to the actual rebuttals, the third speaker said about consequences of sending screenshots about sexual assaults. So let me explain it to you. If there are sexual assaults in social networking site, you actually have screenshots. And you can use the screenshot to report to police or the authority so that proper law will be enforced there. But if you do this, if a teacher assaults sexually children in the school with no social networking site, what will happen? The student don't even have proof to show that she is innocent or he is innocent. And that is why social networking site is a better place to avoid all this sexual assault because you have a damn proper evidence here. And moving on, he also talked about stalkers that can stalk the teacher, who my second speaker was talking about earlier. And the teacher my second speaker was talking about actually has a private account where you can't simply stalk her. And he even talked about pregnancy issue where replacement teacher can replace the teacher at the school. And this explains that the government are not really deep in the status quo because the teachers, especially specialized teachers in biology, chemistry, physics, and maths, are not enough in Malaysia. They are not even coming close to the numbers where we need actually. And how can you replace teachers if you don't even have proper teachers in our school? And he also said we are promoting POI. Oh yes, any POI?
Yes, the speaker. Actually, when you're telling that there are less students or what teachers you're telling for biology, maths, and everything. Do you think that going through social media is the answer for that, or are you thinking that is this more of administration problem or employment problem rather than a social media issue? You're totally running out of topic here.
Thank you.
I haven't finished yet with my POI yet. Okay, and you also stated that students do not face backlash and they can go through a certain amount of evidence to provide to the others. Well, have you heard of Ain Husniza Saiful Nizam, a student who went through a backlash? So much so that she had to go through trauma for an entire year, going through entire court sessions, Supreme Court sessions and everything. Do you know the trauma that places on the students? She was a good and top class student and she went down because of that for entire 1 year of studies. Are you not actually recognizing that point of view?
Thank you, Minister. And let me say it again to you about the technical issue you're facing. The POI only 30 seconds and you're taking too much of my time. And let me focus on my points rather than wasting my time. So the Deputy Minister has said, why are we debating this debate if it is easily avoided? We are debating this debate because the government can't do any proper action to avoid this problem, and they want to put this debate to actually bringing on a cure which takes much more time than to prevent it if you disagree with this motion. And he said he didn't even answer the POI by running away by using a keyword or so-called closed door. And then he said teachers must maintain professionalism and maintain gap. If they maintain gap, how will students trust teacher? They can't even trust teachers, and this gap will enlarge until the point students are afraid to even talk with the teachers. And he said all this. Now you can say deleted message, view once message, and etc. in this social networking site. But do you know, even if you delete a message, all of this info could be accessed by the company if the government demanded it in the first place, because online traces are greater than offline traces. And moving on, with my team's case line, the leader of opposition, which is my team's first speaker, has said creating a better bond with people, in this case teachers, is much more productive so that education could be handled in better hands. Since you can socialize anytime with the educators, you can sort out of any issues you're facing, mentally or physically. Not only that, if a student is suffering mentally and they can't express this face-to-face, what will happen? And now you can say, this is actually normalizing introvertedness, but actually by taking this first step by using social networking site, you are taking the first step to avoid introvertedness. As the saying goes, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a small step, which is this step, social networking site, ladies and gentlemen. And the Deputy Minister, the second speaker from the opposition has said more accessible. Unlike face-to-face education system, social networking site is proved to be much more easier and convenient to both educators and students. For example, even if there is storm, winter, or any seasons, the school is closed, but this social networking site can be used in education. You can argue about connection in rural area or etc. But Starlink, which is Starlink which is a satellite internet constellation operated by American aerospace company SpaceX, which is introduced in Malaysia 2023, you can overcome all this issue. Imagine what will happen if you are not using social networking site during COVID. How can you go to school by and face to face with teachers and undergo education? You simply can't. And my second speaker has also said about communication. Almost 90% of students communicate using social networking site, and this is due to the change the world is facing right now, which is technology change. We have to change according to the world growth, or you will be left behind. That is not what we want. But since you government are doing all these inappropriate motions, we are actually left behind compared to our siblings country, for example, Singapore, United States of America, Japan, or etc. We have to change, ladies and gentlemen, according to the timeline. Change itself is inevitable. And when you ban teachers from interacting students with communicating via social networking site, you are actually limiting their time to communicate. And time itself is not really our friend. But by limiting it, you are limiting students' growth. And by standing against our motion, we are unleashing the limit and helping our education system to grow. And hence, now I finally rest my case. Before I rest my case, I would like to reaffirm my stance, which is I, as the third speaker from the opposition, oppose our motion today, which is this house would ban teachers from interacting with students via social networking websites, simply because the status quo right now is perfectly fine, ladies and gentlemen. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Opposition Whip. I'm so sorry. Okay.
It's okay. I'll turn the mic.
Okay, now we will move on to the resulting speech, where each team will summarize their main arguments and rebuttals in 4 minutes. Okay.
Am I audible? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
A good day to Madam Speaker, with the members of the government. First of all, let me thank the government for going through with this thought-provoking debate, and we as the opposition stand against this motion, which is this house would ban teachers from interacting with students via social networking websites. First off, let me refute some of the arguments made by the government. Right, the first speaker said social networking websites between the students and teachers can lead to sexual abuse. Well, with the problem with this is maybe the schools should address the teachers. Like, how are such despicable human beings are being let through the interview, and how are the schools not background checking the teachers, right? And you say prevention is better than cure, but like with some of these terrible acts are happening, we can learn by not banning the social networking websites between teachers and students. Rather, we can rather you can put more time and effort and money into selecting better teachers instead of just randomly selecting the teachers that are inhumane, right? And your second speaker said that teachers using social media networks can lead to misinterpretation. But you fail to refute our point, which is you can easily just video call and video and voice message the teacher instead. Right now, strengthening my team's case, which is increasing the bond, increase the bond, more accessible and more communication. Like students overall need our social features, right? We can't just expect the students to give homeworks and assignments to the students only. We are social creatures. We crave for communication, right? Which is where social networks, websites come in, right? And let me and instead of banning these social networking websites, we can teach them through the examples, through the examples, right? And as well as that, you as the opposition have not given us has not given sorry you got I'm sorry, let me reiterate, you guys as the government haven't given any mechanisms to this motion, right? And 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 when you said there are specific websites for teachers to teach to students, right? This can The website only provides assignments and homeworks. There's no communication between students and the students, which can make the students and the teachers feel a bit awkward with each other. And in conclusion, we as the opposition firmly stand against this motion, which is this House would ban teachers from interacting with students via social networking websites. And we please urge you to view our side of the motion. And with that move, I thank you.
Okay, thank you for the amusing speech. Okay, next, let's welcome the government side to deliver their replying speech. The time starts once you're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to everyone in this room, especially the judge. I, as the first speaker, hold the responsibility as the government to summarize this debate, to show why it should be in our favor of our side of the team. Before that, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that the opposite sides care so much about the structure of our speech. Then let me tell you what I'm going to do one by one then. First of all, I'm going to summarize our case. Then I'm going to tell you what we succeed in our points, then the specialty that we have done, and the weakness of yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have proof of the dangers that are lurking in every corner. And we stand here as the government side. We just want to ensure of the safety of students to self without such problems to occur. And somehow, ladies and gentlemen, let us think back once again. My second speaker already mentioned this before. We wouldn't be debating about this if something didn't happen. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, try to think back on the points given by the opposite side. They told us we shouldn't ban this because why? We want to promote engaged learning, accessibility. Teacher is not just a teacher. An introvert needs their own way to talk with the teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, does that still not mean that predator behavior couldn't possibly occur? Just so you know, to be a child abuser doesn't need to suppress a certain quality. Anyone can be a child abuser, including the teachers. You say it's shallow to think badly of the teaching educators, but we know better. Certainly, everyone from my team has already highlighted that we do not aim, or nor do we ever put interest to dishonor the credibility of our teachers. But what we want is only to ensure, as I mentioned before, the safety of our students to strive well. Sam has mentioned, prevention is better than cure. Ladies and gentlemen, the specialty that we have done, we've already shown the dangers lurking. We've already given the reason why we should ban this thing. However, the opposite team, they haven't even said that why the good outweighs the bad. Ladies and gentlemen, if we look back at our motion today, we should ban teachers communicating with students via SNS. And we talk about this only via SNS. We are not preventing the entire communication. We are not saying teachers should not communicate at all with their students. We're just saying not through social media, not through that platform. Because why? We have the Prime Minister has mentioned herself. There are various dangers in apps everywhere. There are certain things, there are certain mechanisms that has been created in those apps specifically. And I mentioned before, again, and I mentioned, we have already proven that the bad outweighs the good in this scenario. There is no good if you do not ban this, ladies and gentlemen. And as I mentioned before, that we wouldn't here be debating if this did not happen. So ladies and gentlemen, something bad must have happened if you are still here communicating about it. And the opposite side, they haven't told us about like how good it will be if we do not ban this thing. They keep talking about the goodness of communicating, the sob story about it. But ladies and gentlemen, we all know the dangers that lurk within. We all know the possibility of inappropriate relationship. Our side has firmly expressed concern, and that's why this motion exists today. We want to ban it because of what? Our concern towards the abuse of children. And this already has been proven by statistics, ladies and gentlemen. So therefore, this ideology links with the same. With this ideology has to be there, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, I rest my case.
Thank you. Thank you. Replying speech from opposition. Okay. Okay, thank you to everyone present for making this debate session a success. That concludes today's debate session on topic education. I would like to thank both teams for their excellent performance today. Now let's give some time for the judges to calculate overall marks and announce.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello. Okay. No more echoes, all right? No more. All right. Hello, everyone. How's the debate? What do you guys think?
It was fun.
It's fun. What about the opposition?
Yeah, we think personally we need 10 minutes to speak.
All right. Okay. So I'll conclude everything today, but give me a second. Am I audible? Audible? Yes, okay. All right. Okay, so let me conclude everything. So for today's motion, we want to ban connection between teachers and students, okay, related to the social networking websites, which I still are not clear what kind of social networking sites. No, no clear. I mean, the first speaker of the government and also the opposition didn't clearly open this case. Okay, you guys didn't clearly said what are the social networking sites, and maybe you can talk about why and what are the impacts of this debate. Okay, each side still didn't mention these things to me. Maybe you did, but then not clearly, right? But what I want to say is today's debate, it is only on a medium level. You guys are not great, not bad, but then you guys are neutral, 50-50. Okay? Because of how you are opening the case, you guys are basically just open the case um not in detail. You guys still haven't mentioned about the most important aspects, like what are the social networking sites and who are the most impactful one. And then you guys haven't tell me what are the status quo today. What are the most impactful case that have happened here that lead to this debate. Okay, so government did mention about the 4% students who are exposed to the sex intentional message, right? That is good, but then it should be done not by the third speaker, but it must be done in the early stage of this debate. Okay, you guys need to open this case clearly. Why are we debating this? What are stakeholders? How impactful it is? And what are the social networking sites? Okay, basically you need to know that all judges have zero knowledge for this debate or have no zero knowledge of this topic. So you guys need to explain every single thing, A to Z, so that we can understand. Okay, all right. So I'll comment on each one side. Okay, first government. Okay, you guys put the case not clearly, as I said, and then you guys talk about how you want to stop predators, and you want to talk about how ethical it is for us to have to not to ban teachers from messaging students, right? So, but then you didn't engage well with the opposition, I guess. No POI is given, only at the end session of this debate given by the speaker Sri Bharatan. So I feel like you guys are not contradicting enough each side of you. Okay, and then the opposition, you guys did not engage well too, even though you gave POI, but then you haven't mentioned any answers of the POI given, only one POI. So I do notice that you guys did not answer that. Okay, and then what I think is you guys also give absurd solutions by the opposition. You guys did not engage well when when the government said that uh, there are predators, pedophiles in the teachers community, but then you said that maybe the selection of the teachers are can be done correctly, or maybe the higher up need to choose teachers, and that is uh, that is rebutted by the government, said that said that these selection are not cannot this selection cannot predict the future. So I do agree with the government today, and for this case, I feel like each side of you, each side, government and the opposition, need to open the case very well and then engage with each other. You guys want to talk about the stakeholder. The most impactful one is students. Students are the one who can be influenced by the teachers. Basically, teachers are older than them, so they can just ask students to do whatever they want. So why is that if we ban the connection between these students and teachers, can stop the pedophile action, can stop the case of the exposed and influenced students lead to sex intention. Okay, so basically those things are not clearly explained by both sides, and but today it is a close margin. Okay, basically you guys did what you guys can do, and you guys are on same level. And then I do give the margin is 1. Okay, the margin is 1. The win goes to government. Okay, the win goes to government because I understand well about how you want, why you want to ban, and you give solutions and you give facts. Even though you give only one POI, but then I am um convinced with your explanation. Okay, and then best speaker goes to Prime Minister. All right, congratulations, Prime Minister Amira. Okay, so what I want to add is you guys need to know what are the things that you guys need to do in a replying speech. Basically, judge will look at the replying speech more than other speech given by each speakers, because you guys need to conclude. Okay, what Amira did as the replying speech giver. She mentioned about the flaws of each side and defend of her side. But what the opposition said, you guys just rebut, and you guys didn't defend your case. So basically, I failed to see what are the things that you wanna convince me at the end of the day, and then that's why you guys did not convince me enough. All right. So good luck to both teams for round 2, and sorry for the technical issue, and we'll make sure that everything will be settled in the round 2. Okay. Good luck for the next round. You guys may go to the main session. All of you can go to the main session.